Hello students, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to my channel. This is a very important class on Indian English novel, Indian English literature part 18, and today we will talk about Raja Rao. But before starting, I want to give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Brishti Mukherjee. I have qualified NTA UGC NET exam in English literature 4 times and have also qualified West Bengal state examination. I have 2 years of teaching experience. Moreover, I have also taught in NPTEL online course from IIT Madras 3 times. So that is all about myself. Good evening, Vedvyasji. Good evening, Manju. Welcome. Yes, I am fine. How are you? This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. And also please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel so that many more new learners can join. These are the timings of your classes: Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m., Saturday, Sunday off. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notification. Okay, so today we will talk about Raja Rao. So good evening Shomo, good evening Cherry, good evening Papri, good evening Geetu, welcome. Okay, so today we will talk about Raja Rao, and you all know that Mulkraj Anand, Raja Rao and R.K. Narayan, they are known as the trio of Indian English novelists. Okay, नोटिफिकेशन नहीं मिल पा रही है. Notification, have you subscribed to the channel and press the bell icon for all notification? Then I think you will definitely get it. Or otherwise you can join the Telegram channel. I always post the link of the classes there, and जब start होती है तभी मैं एक message कर देती हूँ कि class has already started. Good evening Amit, welcome. Good evening Sweta, welcome. ओके, तो चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का टॉपिक राजा राव. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल लुक एट हिज बायोग्राफिकल डिटेल्स एंड देन वी विल मूव ऑन टू हिज नॉवेल्स. So good evening Rajkishore, welcome. So yes, Raja Rao was born in 1908 in Mysore, South India, and he was the eldest of 9 siblings. Okay, his mother died when he was 4. His grandfather was spiritually influenced. These are all about his family details. Now, this is important. He was inspired by the sages like Pandit Taranath and Tungabhadra Ashram. Okay, so he was inspired by these sages, and it also inspired his writings. Okay, he studied in a Muslim school, very interesting, and later moved to the University of Hyderabad. This is important. He edited a magazine called Changing India with Iqbal Singh, which is actually an anthology of modern Indian thought from Ram Mohan Roy to Nehru. So it is basically a historical work, a historical cum philosophical work, you may say, historical cum philosophical. Okay, and this work, Changing India, it is actually a magazine, and it is a collection of a chronological description of the thoughts of India or the development of India from Ram Mohan Roy to Jawaharlal Nehru. And this is also important. He also co-edited a journal called Tomorrow with Ahmed Ali. Okay, so these are his co-editors and people जिसके साथ उन्होंने काम किया. ठीक है, तो Changing India, it is a magazine. He was the editor of that, and Tomorrow is a journal which is co-edited by Raja Rao. Okay, so that is about that is about his biographical details. So now we will directly move on to his novel. First important novel, you have all read this, that is Kanthapura, published in 1938. It is a very important novel and the masterpiece of Raja Rao, as we can see. And it is the only novel of Raja Rao published before independence. So आप देख रहे हो 1938, which means before independence. तो ये publish हुआ था, and it was the debut novel of Raja Rao. ठीक है. And this novel was basically about the details of the teachings of Gandhi and its impact. I have been asked this question in interview, in CSC interview, कि name a few novels which have Gandhian thoughts or which is an example of Gandhian narratives. ठीक है. तो राजा राव का कांथापुरा मैंने बताया था, एंड आई हैव ऑल्सो सेड वेटिंग फॉर द महात्मा, जिसमें गांधी एज ए कैरेक्टर थे. अनटचेबल भी है. तो कई सारे नॉवेल्स हैं जिसमें गांधीयन थॉट्स के बारे में हमको पता चलता है. एंड इंडियन लिटरेचर में, स्पेसिफिकली इंडियन नॉवेल में, एक अलग सा सेगमेंट आ जाते हैं दैट इज कॉल्ड गांधीयन नैरेटिव. So this was also asked in the interview to me that what do you mean by Gandhian narrative and how do you think that Gandhian narrative influenced India literature? Why is it important? तो इसके साथ ये क्वेश्चन भी अटैच था. ठीक है. तो कमिंग बैक टू द नॉवल, सो इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द टीचिंग्स ऑफ गांधी एंड इट्स इम्पैक्ट ऑन सोसाइटी. एंड दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, ये बहुत बार क्वेश्चन में आए हैं. इट इज नैरेटेड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्थल पुराण. ओके, नैरेटेड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्थल पुराण. तो प्लॉट क्या है? द नैरेटर इज अचक्ता, हु इज एन ओल्ड वुमन. एन ओल्ड वुमन. ओके, द नैरेटर अचक्का इज एन ओल्ड वुमन. एंड Kanthapura is actually the name of the village in Mysore in the province of Kara. So it has a real setting or real background, and Kanthapura is situated in the valley of Himavati. So this is the exact geographical location of the village. So this village has 24 houses in Brahmin quarters. Okay. Now basically there are caste divisions in this particular village, and जो 4 castes उस टाइम में थे, ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य एंड शूद्र. तो इस टाइप का जो डिवीजन है वो भी उस विलेज में था. एंड द ब्राह्मण क्वार्टर्स, दोज आर सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम द अदर्स बिकॉज दे आर considered as the upper class people. So 24 houses are there in the Brahmin quarters, and the other houses which are almost at the outskirts of the village, those are pariahs, weavers, potters, and Sudras. Those are all considered as lower class people, right? So Achakka first of all describes the hierarchical structure of the village Kanthapura. तो इससे ही नॉवेल स्टार्ट होता है. Achakka narrates the differences of the castes. There are Brahmins who are the best and pariahs who are the marginalized. तो उसी टाइप से उन लोगों का घर भी था. But they are united and protected by a local deity named Kenchamma. Kenchamma is the name of the goddess. Okay, she is a deity. So all the people of the village or the whole village are protected by a single goddess, जिसका नाम है Kenchamma. Okay. Now the main character appears, जिसका नाम है Murthy. Murthy is the main protagonist, who is a childhood friend of Achakka's son. Okay. So Murthy is a very progressive man, and he leaves the village and goes to the city to study. Okay. And there he gets inspired by the Gandhian philosophy, and he speaks against caste system because Gandhiji believes in the concept of Harijan. He thinks that all the marginalized people and all the lower caste people, they are the children of God. They are the sons of Hari. ठीक है. So Gandhiji always spoke against that caste system, and Murthy is also doing that. So the local people and the village priest turned against him. Obviously, that was the condition of the conservative society, that when someone is trying to do something new, or they are trying to break the shackles of society, then society will consider him or her as mad, as a potential threat. So naturally, when Murthy comes back after his study, and he realizes that no, this caste system is a serious uh, drawback of Indian society, and it will lead us not forward, rather backward. ठीक है. तो लोकल पीपल एंड विलेज प्रीस्ट तब उनके अगेंस्ट में बात कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज द सो कॉल्ड बिलीफ वो जनरली लॉस हो रहा है. ठीक है. He is invited by some Brahmins in Skeffington Coffee Estate to create an awareness of Gandhian philosophy. So he is making campaign. Okay, he is beaten by Bade Khan, but the workers protest against that and beat the police in return. So gradually he is gaining popularity among the lower class people because Murthy is with them. Okay, so they are always trying to protect Murthy. The British government accuses him to provoke the people against all those castes, right? British government accuses him for that. Okay. Um, हाँ. So that happens with Murthy because automatically देखो Kanthapura is basically a novel which is talking about the differences of a conventional society and how someone who is trying to change it will face a problem. Okay. So it is also a novel about criticizing the caste system and also explains that how Murthy accepts the new reality that is the Gandhian philosophy. Okay. Good evening, Jyoti. Welcome. Yes. ओके तो हाँ तो कमिंग बैक टू द नॉवेल सो जब बड़े खान उनको मार रहे हैं एंड द लोकल पीपल दे आर प्रोटेस्टिंग अगेंस्ट दैट so Murthy is very much criticized by the majority of the people he is arrested but the women of Kanthapura united together to continue the struggle under the leadership of Rangamma. Rangamma appears as a true lady who guides all those women. Later, Murthy is released and greeted by the villagers. Okay? So basically, this novel is an attempt to represent Gandhian discourse in a fictionalized form, and this novel echoes the concept of Hind Swaraj, Gandhi's vision of a cyclical pattern of society from golden age to fall and revival and return. So this novel is based on this particular thing that Gandhi is talking about the cyclical uh, रीजनरेशन ऑफ द सोसाइटी. ठीक है तो जैसे हमने पढ़ा था मॉडर्न एज में डब्ल्यू बी एड्स का जायर सिस्टम or Jayat theory. So similarly, Gandhiji also believes that society revolves around a circle where sometimes there is a golden age, then it is destroyed, and finally someone comes to revive it again. So this novel is talking about that, or it is based on that. ओके तो दैट इज अबाउट कांथापुरा. तो अब गोल्डन एज का क्या मीनिंग है यहाँ पर लिखा है जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया. द गोल्डन एज मीन्स दैट पार्ट ऑफ अ सिविलाइजेशन which is unaffected by western civilization. Here golden age means that from post colonial perspective that it is talking about a pure native era where there is no western touch. Fall refers to the time when one moves to city, contracts the disease of western world. ठीक है. And return means coming back to native land to reconnect with the untouched Indian civilization. So think it through the novel Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart आप सबने पढ़ा है तो वहां पर भी ऑलमोस्ट ये सेम थिंग चिनू आचे भी एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं. तो जब ओकोंको ट्राई कर रहे हैं ओकोंको इज द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ दैट गोल्डन एरा that unchanged tribal society. Okay, Okonko is the representative of that. And when Okonko, after the arrest of Okonko and other leaders of Umofia, when Okonko comes back and he realizes that the village has been divided into two parts. One part is supporting Christianity and another part is trying to still preserve the culture of the tribal people. So that is the point of fall. ठीक है जब ओकोंको ये रियलाइज कर रहे हैं कि जो यूनिटी उन्होंने बनाया था वो आज नहीं. And finally, the desperate attempt of Okunko alone to try to revive the situation, to try to manage everything, and finally Okunko sacrifices his own life. So that is the point of return. ओके तो ऑलमोस्ट हर पोस्ट कॉलोनियल नॉवेल में आपको ये चीज देखने को मिलेगा. गुड इवनिंग निर्मल, वेलकम. यस वेस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन राइट. तो ये थीम कंथापुरा में भी. चलो नेक्स्ट नॉवेल पे आते हैं द सरपेंट एंड द रोप पब्लिश्ड इन 1960. तो देखो ये इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद है. इंडिपेंडेंस के पहले उनका एक ही नॉवेल था दैट इज कंथापुरा. Okay, so Serpent and the Rope published in 1960. It is important because it won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1964, and it was the second novel of Raja Rao published by John Murray. ठीक है, तो Serpent and the Rope is considered autobiographical to some extent. तो मेन जो कैरेक्टर है उसका नाम है रामस्वामी. ही इज द प्रोटैगनिस्ट. He goes to France to do research in history. Okay, the Ramaswamy goes to France to do research in history. Okay, now later what happens that he falls in love with a girl called Madeline who was a lecturer in history. ठीक है, तो but the marriage between Ramaswamy and Madeline does not last long. They are separated very soon, and he realizes the unbridgeable gap between Eastern and Western culture. ठीक है, तो ये थोड़ा सा सिमिलर है. आप कंपेयर कर सकते हो विद भारती मुखर्जी's novel, right, where Bharati Mukherjee and her husband both feels the same kind of gap between Eastern and Western culture, because Bharati Mukherjee is a woman who was born in Calcutta, and finally she goes back to abroad, and her husband is just opposite. He is a man of abroad and he comes to Kolkata. तो अब इन दोनों के बीच में जब एक गैप क्रिएट होता है, तो इट इज नॉट ओनली द गैप ऑफ देयर सोसाइटी or their arrival, but also it is the gap between the cultures, the two different cultures. One is oriental, another is occidental. One is native, another is foreign. ठीक है, तो वो तो डायस्पोरा के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में है. इट इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली डायस्पोरा, बट यस इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अ काइंड ऑफ कल्चरल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट in Ramaswamy, because he is a purely Indian man and Madeline is a foreigner. Okay, so they are separated soon. Their first child dies soon. Now Ramaswamy's father is on the verge of death. Yes, Ramaswamy's father is on the verge of death. He comes back to India to see his father and his stepmother. Okay, now there he meets another girl called Savitri, who is a Cambridge student but very much rooted in Indian culture. ठीक है, तो अगेन देखो सावित्री नेम बहुत कॉमन है इंडियन नॉवेल में, इंडियन स्टोरीज में, बिकॉज सावित्री, सीता, दमयंती, द्रौपदी, दे आर सिंबल्स ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट एंड द आइडियल इंडियन वुमेनहुड, एंशियंट इंडियन वुमेन. ठीक है, आइडियल वाइफ, आइडियल डॉटर, आइडियल मदर. So they are considered as five important women of our Indian tradition. ठीक है, in Bengali we call them Panchoshati. So Savitri and also Behula. Yes. So these are the five women. तो सावित्री के साथ रामस्वामी का एक मुलाकात होता है, एंड अगेन द नेम सावित्री गोज बैक टू द इंडियन ट्रेडिशन एंड द टिपिकल or rather you may say that stereotype of Indian womanhood. Yes. So he meets another girl called Savitri. She is a Cambridge student, but still she respects Indian culture. Savitri is engaged with one of his friends, but she confesses that she does not love him. Okay? He takes her along with him in England. Ramaswamy takes Savitri along with him and he falls in love with her. But Savitri is already married, so they decide their ways to be different. ठीक है, तो फाइनली जो गैप है वो गैप तो गैप ही रहता है, राइट. And the Serpent and the Rope, the title is very interesting. It is an analogy to Shankaracharya's philosophy, theme of quest for self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. ठीक है, तो शंकराचार्य, यू ऑल नो आदि शंकराचार्य, उसी के हम बात कर रहे हैं. तो उनके फिलोसॉफी के ऊपर ये बेस्ड है. And the inspiration of the novel is taken from the notebooks of Malte Lauritz. ठीक है, and this is very very important. इसमें दो एपिग्राफ है. Waves are nothing but water by Atmananda Guru and Lamar Lamar Tojor's recommends by Paul Valery. ठीक है, ये दोनों एपिग्राफ है, जरूर याद रखना. तो हाँ, तो ये दोनों एपिग्राफ. ठीक है, अब बात आती है कि टाइटल क्यों है सर्पेंट एंड द रोप. Okay. So in Bengali, we have a proverb which is called as Rojjute Sarpobhum. In English, it means that we often mistake a rope to be a snake. Rope is always mistaken as a snake. Okay. So the serpent and the rope means that you mistake something, or you are illusioned in a different reality, but the true reality is something different, right? So here also you can find that Ramaswamy is facing a real conflict with Madeline, and when he meets Savitri, he thinks that his life will be settled. But again, Savitri comes with another problem, that she is already married. And in Indian society or in Hindu culture at that time, a double marriage was considered an offense. ठीक है, तो मैं उस टाइम की बात कर रही हूँ. उस टाइम में तो ये ऑलमोस्ट बैन हो चुका था. ठीक है, तो एज एन एजुकेटेड लेडी, सावित्री इज नॉट विलिंग टू मैरी रामास्वामी अगेन, सो शी इज compelled to be with a loveless marriage with his own friend, Ramaswamy's friend. So that is why it is also a kind of illusion. Ramaswamy is under an illusion, and he thinks that serpent, that rope is the actual serpent, but actually it is not. So he tries to find an ideal wife in Savitri. He again fails, and when he tries to marry Madeline and tries to have a new life, tries to start a new life, then also he fails. So in two cases, in both the cases, he fails to identify the true reality among the illusion. So that may be the significance of the title. Yes, disillusionment of life, right? अच्छा चलो, नेक्स्ट नॉवल पे हम आते हैं, दैट इज द कैट एंड शेक्सपियर. द टाइटल इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, पब्लिश्ड इन 1965. तो अर्लियर वर्जन का टाइटल था द कैट एंड शेक्सपियर, उन्होंने बाद में ऐड किया. So it is also a philosophical novel and a metaphysical comedy, and Raja Rao called it a book of prayer. ठीक है, तो ये याद रखना, राजा राव कॉल्ड इट अ बुक ऑफ प्रेयर. अब इसका मेन कैरेक्टर्स कौन है? रामकृष्ण पाई एंड गोविंदर नायर, दे आर द टू क्लर्क्स. Yes, at first he was fascinated with Western culture, so he married Madeline, right? That was his another illusion. And next time he was attracted to Savitri, but also Savitri rejects him because she is already married, right? So Pai loves Shanta and dreams of building a house. Ramakrishna Pai loves Shanta and dreams of building a house. Now Govinda Nair, he is a philosophical man who devotes himself in the study of self and believes in complete surrendering to the supreme principle, which he symbolically calls mother cat. तो ये बेसिकली एक फिलोसॉफी है. ठीक है, तो नायर इज टोटली फिलोसॉफिकल एंड ही टॉक्स अबाउट कंप्लीट सरेंडर. नाउ देयर बॉस डाइज बाय हार्ट फेल्योर व्हेन अ कैट सीट्स ऑन हिज हेड. दिस इज वेरी फनी. ठीक है, तो हार्ट फेल हो चुका था जब एक कैट उनके माथे के ऊपर थे. बिटवीन देयर हाउसेस देयर इज अ वॉल व्हिच नायर क्रॉसेस एवरी टाइम टू मीट पाई. ठीक है, एंड द वॉल सिंबलाइजेस द बाउंड्री बिटवीन इल्यूशन एंड रियलिटी. तो यहाँ पर भी सेम थीम है जो लास्ट नॉवल में था, सर्पेंट एंड द रूट में, illusion and reality. So Nair crosses that wall to meet Pi, but Pi never crosses it. At last, following Nair's cat, he crosses the wall and realizes that spiritual and material fulfillment. ठीक है, so that is by Cat and Shakespeare. तो हाँ, तो बेसिकली हाँ, तो ये बेसिकली है नॉवेल का प्लॉट. ठीक है, अब इसके साथ और कुछ बातें हैं. तो इट ऑल्सो हैज एन एपिग्राफ. इट इज अगेन टेकन फ्रॉम आत्मानंद गुरु. एपिग्राफ क्या है? देयर इज सेंट एंड ब्यूटी इन द फ्लावर, बट हु नोज व्हाट द फ्लावर रियली इज. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन एंड वेरी पावरफुल लाइन. देयर इज सेंट एंड ब्यूटी इन द फ्लावर, वी ऑल नो दैट, बट हु नोज दैट व्हाट द फ्लावर रियली इज. Absolutely right. So we often get illusioned, or we often get motivated, falsely motivated by the apparent reality, but who knows what is the original reality. ठीक है, तो हर फ्लावर बहुत ब्यूटीफुल होता है, सेंट एंड ब्यूटी उसके अंदर होता है, बट वी डू नॉट नो वेदर इट इज पॉइजनस और. so very beautiful line which is used as an epigraph. And this novel is known as Marjara Nyay or the cat hold theory. ठीक है, तो बेसिकली कैट होल्ड थ्योरी है क्या? इट इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स फिलोसॉफिकल थ्योरी। तो इसमें बताया जा रहे हैं कि मैन हैज टू सरेंडर कंप्लीटली ऑन द डिवाइन, लाइक द यंग किटन इज लिफ्टेड बाय द स्क्रैप ऑफ द नेक बाय द मदर कैट। तो जैसे मदर कैट के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट होता है उनके किटन्स, सिमिलरली वी हैव टू सरेंडर आवरसेल्व्स टू द डिवाइन। ओके, तो बेसिकली ये है नॉवेल का प्लॉट, द कैट एंड शेक्सपियर। ओके, तो नेक्स्ट नॉवेल पे आते हैं, कॉमरेड किरिलोव, पब्लिश्ड इन 1976। कॉमरेड किरिलोव। ओके, हाँ, तो कॉमरेड किरिलोव याद रखना, इट इज द ओनली नॉवेल विच वाज ओरिजिनली रिटन इन इंग्लिश, बट सॉरी, नॉट द ओनली नॉवेल, इट इज द ओरिजिनली रिटन इन इंग्लिश बट पब्लिश्ड इन फ्रेंच। नॉट द ओनली नॉवेल, ठीक है, ओनली नॉवेल नहीं है, बट ये फ्रेंच में पब्लिश हुआ था बट रिटन इन इंग्लिश, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। तो मेन कैरेक्टर का नाम है पद्मनाभ आयर। सेटिंग है 1930s 40s लंदन में। द नॉवेल इज इंस्पायर्ड बाय दोस्तोयेवस्कीज वर्क पोसेस्ड। दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट, ठीक है। तो मेन जो मतलब इसका फेमस लाइन है वो क्या है? फेमस लाइन है, एनोनिमस माय नेम, लॉजिक माय रिलीजियन, कम्युनिज्म माय मदरलैंड। ये कॉमरेड किरिलोव का स्टेटमेंट है। तो ये क्वेश्चन में शायद एक बार आया था कि कम्युनिज्म इज माय मदरलैंड, ये किसने बताया था? तो इट इज सेड बाय कॉमरेड किरिलोव इन राजा राउस नॉवल। द नैरेटर इज रेफर्ड टू ओनली आर। नैरेटर सिर्फ आर से डिनोट होता है। किरिलोव is a communist but very much Indian at heart. He comes to England and settles there. Okay, and he falls in love with a Czech girl जिसका नाम है इरेन। So part of the narration is reflecting on her diary written by Irene. So finally they get married and they have a son named Komul. He becomes an obsessed man, like a religious fanatic. And again, the same kind of conflict, cultural conflict, is also here. He is torn between Indian tradition and newfound ideology accepted by him. So again, similar plot यहाँ पर भी है कि the theme is same, that is cultural conflict. So that is about this novel. Now we move on to the next novel and the last novel of today's class, that is The Chess Master and His Moves, published in 1988. So it is talking about an impossible love relationship between Shivram Shastri, an Indian mathematician working at Paris, and a French actress named Suzanne Chantiron. ठीक है, तो impossible love. And he becomes a metaphysical search for self. It is the most ambitious novel of Raja Ram, Chess Master and His Moves. ठीक है, तो ये उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बस आप कैरेक्टर्स का नेम याद रखना। और उनके कौन कौन से वर्क्स है? अदर वर्क्स के लिस्ट में आते हैं द काउ ऑफ द बैरिकेड्स, पब्लिश्ड इन 1947, इंडिपेंडेंस के ईयर में। Policeman and the Rose 1978, On the Ganga Ghat 1989, The Great Indian Way, subtitled as A Life of Mahatma Gandhi, published in 1998, Wither India 1948. So these are some of the other works of Raja Ram. Okay, so we have completed the trio of Indian English novelists, R.K. Narayan, Mulkraj Anand and Raja Ram. तीनों ही बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जरूर इसको पढ़ के जाना इन डिटेल। एंड जो भी बुक्स आपके पास है उससे राजा राव इन डिटेल में देखो, ठीक है। So that is the end of today's class. Thank you all for joining. This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. So these are the timings of your classes. We will meet again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notification. Okay, so thank you all. Bye bye everyone. Good night. See you all tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.